What's up, adventurers, and welcome back to another Motocamp adventure video. What you're seeing now is some footage of a bunch of surfers in Santa Cruz. It's really cool to see like all these surfers just trying to catch all these waves. There's probably about 10 or 15 guys out there. You can just see them as like black specks. But anyway, let's talk about Pinnacles National Park, where my brother and I camped out overnight and got to hike some of the area. Pinnacles is not your average, always sunny California weather, probably dropping to 30 to 40 degrees at night when Greg and I were there in late November. We honestly weren't prepared for the cold, but we fared alright. It was a pretty cold night, as you can see by the frost buildup on the motorcycles. Luckily I had my fleece hat and he had his hat too. And I always suggest you bring a fleece hat or some type of hat anytime you go camping. That rule has saved me more than a few times. Luckily, when we rode away from our campsite to the Bear Gulch area, it started to warm up a little bit, and a lot of wildlife out in the morning. A lot of deer just gnawing away at trees and vegetation, and these deer specifically didn't really mind. I'd never really seen anything like this on the East Coast, and it's funny that it just seems to be the norm for the West Coast from what I've seen. The drastic elevation change, coupled with no vegetation to block the views, made for some really interesting and exciting day hiking. I'm used to climbing a mountain covered with trees until you reach the summit, so I almost felt a little spoiled the whole climb up. That's just one of the benefits to the desert terrain area that Pinnacles is, in any desert really, where there's mountains. It's very cool to just be able to hike up, look back, see where you've been, keep hiking, and then you just kind of get a really good understanding of how far you've traveled the entire time. I hiked in with Greg's infinite utility Fox backpack and didn't really have enough water for the two of us. I actually didn't end up bringing enough water for myself. He had enough water in the hydration bladder, but we actually had to share some water towards the top. I guess that's typical of what you would think of a desert. Hiking up to the high peaks area, there's some really cool geological things that I've never seen before, and I really wish I knew more about geology in general. Maybe took a course in it in college, maybe I will still, but anyway, it's really cool to see some of the rock formations, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it looked a lot like it was volcanic rock. You can see Greg climbing up on some of this rock here, and it was just really incredible to climb up here and just see, like, this massive drop-off and just these views that go out for probably almost 100 miles or more. Luckily, we picked a really clear day to hike on, and I really hope to return to this area, if not just any desert area in California that California just seems to have a lot of. In fact, I really just want to see the whole West Coast. Doesn't have to be specifically California. Sometimes I get the itch to just pack up my 650 and travel for thousands of miles and just see the entire United States and maybe some other countries. Anyway, thanks for joining us on our hike, and take care, riders.